Hi guys, welcome to a very special Mount Rushmore. You know, every time we sit down in this room to debate the top 4 of any given topic, Richard and Michael and I talk, but I don't feel like we're really sharing something. I don't feel like we're really getting to know each other. So this week on Mount Rushmore, I chose a topic that will allow them to really get something off their chest. I want to get to know these guys, these bros of mine, in a more intimate way than I ever have before. Still remaining clothed, not breaking our vows to our wives. We're all married and happily thus. But I just want to get to know them. And so I chose a topic, Mount Rushmore of things other than people that broke your heart. It's Mount Rushmore. This is me, Jeff. With me, as always, my good friends Richard.
Hello.
And Michael.
Howdy.
Guys, you know the topic. You know what I'm going for. I'm going for the real thing. Okay? Michael, I want you to look me in the eye. I want you to tell me something hurt you that broke your heart.
Dinosaurs and feathers.
What the hell are you talking about?
Hello.
Listen.
What?
We're already off track. What is this?
I couldn't get. I mean, I started to get a little serious with this, but then at some point I had to really. I wasn't sure.
Are you evading emotion? What is Dinosaurs and Feathers? Seriously, dude. Is this another one of your hipster bands that had played at Coachella?
They're at Coachella.
On like the third stage.
They're at Coachella playing like a 5 o'clock Saturday lineup, but they were also playing later in the week at Ice House. So,
sweet. Okay.
So I got to see him a second time
Yeah.
then.
You bought 2 shirts, the same shirt,
Yeah.
just twice.
I want to quote a statement from the character Mac from the show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia from the episode Reynolds versus Reynolds, the serial defense. Science is a liar sometimes. He used this in this.
I was just watching this clip the other day, by the way. Yes.
That's
Is
so
this,
random.
Is the one where is this one where Mac is trying to argue for evolution?
Yeah, he argues that because science is constantly proven wrong
Yeah.
by the smartest people in the world at the time, that sometimes science is a liar, so evolution is wrong.
Oh, wow.
It was a nonsensical rift in the show about, and that show is all nonsense.
If this, then that logic that doesn't
Yes.
quite hold up. Okay.
Yeah. But one thing that continuously kind of bums me out, I don't know if it breaks my heart, but it gets pretty close to it, is the kind of realization that all these really cool dinosaurs we had growing up, they're all covered in feathers.
Oh, that's so stupid. Yeah.
It's lame, and it's like, I don't know if it's a fault of Jurassic Park
Yeah.
or if it's a fault of Michael Crichton that at some point we got these really cool velociraptors that came out in the early 90s. And then by the time Jurassic Park 3 came about, they have these goddamn feathers on their head.
Oh.
But listen, I'm not a science denier. We just had this big science march
Yeah.
last week that is like, yay, science,
Yeah.
and yay, data, and yay, let's not ignore things.
Yeah.
Can you ignore this one?
Please.
Can you get back to when they were just these big, like, lumbering, cool lizards and not, like, potentially just, like, these weird birds?
Okay, have you ever been threatened physically by like a goose or something like that? I've been mortified by things covered in
this
feathers.
Is the best part of Jeff Cast.
So I didn't say I wasn't going to share some too.
Oh.
I have been mortally threatened by a goose once, and this thing hissed at me, and I think it wanted the sandwich that was in my hand or something like that. This feather-bearing creature struck fear into me that I imagine a velociraptor couldn't even match. Does that fix your hurt, Michael?
Not really.
Oh shit. Okay.
Like, I'm glad that not all dinosaurs have feathers. Like, more of the bird-like ones, the raptors and the different things like that. But I don't know. It's just like,
When did you hear about this?
it's been happening for like the last 15 years.
Okay, what's really at stake here? Is it your childhood? Something that you believed in as a childhood?
Is it Jurassic Park that's all screwed up for you now?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, all of it. It's a weird. Yeah, I think childhood definitely has a part.
Are you gonna have to go redraw those pictures on your notebook?
Yeah, the paper bag that I used to cover my history textbook when I had to wrap it and then tape it, and then I could draw on it with like a Sharpie. Now the dinosaurs and the T-Rex and the Brontosaurus, which doesn't exist anymore, guys.
Not a thing.
Are you serious?
Brontosaurus is gone. It
Oh,
wasn't
wow.
even covered in feathers. It didn't really exist to begin with.
Oh wow.
But I think science is just one of those things that kind of always just allowing to tinker with itself and revise itself, and now it's just revised itself to the point where a number of these, like I was looking
Cool
on,
shit.
there's like 40 or close to 50 of these things that they've discovered, these non-avian.
Yeah.
Because, there's the ones like the Archaeopteryx. I'm going to butcher that and all. Oh, I'm sorry, Internet, and all you dinosaur nerds out there.
Archaeopteryx was in Harry Potter, wasn't it? The spell.
Right.
What does that? Is that a lizard-like
Bird.
bird? Okay.
Yeah. And like, I can accept. I accept that there were some.
Mm-hmm.
But all of these that they keep coming out, like Velociraptor,
Yeah.
they're like completely covered in feathers.
Oh.
Not all the fossil records like show that, but enough have come out where it's like, this is this big goose that's running after you. 6 foot goose. And like they even joke about it in Jurassic Park.
Right.
Where they're like, oh, imagine like this giant turkey. Like, okay, but you can imagine it as a lizard.
Yeah.
Not as this damn feather covered jackass. And that just bums me out. Just kind of like, I think it is. I think it's like a death of childhood sort of thing where you're just like,
all the toys you played with, all the
just the
entertainment
images
you
that you
loved.
come up with. Like I remember I had like all, I had dinosaur books like every kid did growing up, and I had ones that talked about all of like the weird dinosaurs too that were like, who was that big armadillo one? Richard, you're a dinosaur
Triceratops?
guy.
No. Like Euphocephalus or Ankylosaurus or one of those things.
Yeah. Ankylosaurus. That's the one I was thinking.
My
of.
favorite dinosaur. By the
Oh
way.
yeah, it's a good one.
When you have kids, by the way, Michael, you will be forced to have favorite dinosaurs.
This is a repeat for you. You were like, I think the last time you were like, hey, I have kids. I know about dinosaurs.
Yeah, trust me. You
Trust me.
So
well,
you must
watched Vivian that one time, and she was
you must
shut up about him.
Richard,
Congratulations. You have a healthy baby girl, and you're an honorary paleontologist.
Pretty much.
Well, do your kids, since they've grown up in an age of stupid feathered dinosaurs, do they care like I care?
They think it's cool
oh my god!
See, they think
get
it's
some
cool
new
because-
kids.
kids
Get some new
today.
kids
because
Sorry,
because
Viv.
they can be, they're starting to realize the dinosaurs could have all these like kick-ass colors like parrots, So for them, they think that's like badass instead of like just boring gray,
Yeah. Yeah,
reptiles.
If T-Rex was bearing down on you with his teeth right around your neck, and then he spread his wings of his feather like a like a beautiful.
If the last thing you see before you die is basically like a flamboyant, like a Elton John
Why are we not coming up with a name
cape
of that
coming
bird?
down at you.
well, okay.
Peacock, the
Yeah.
peacock of dinosaurs.
Well, now I'm even more bummed out because like I used to, you imagine these dinosaurs as like these killing machines, and they're jumping on each other and tearing at their throats. And now, okay, they obviously have like creepy mating dances, but like, can you imagine T-Rex like doing like this butt feather wiggle and jumping up and down?
It'd be
And, God, I
like
hate
if,
these
if
things
Freddie
now.
Mercury beat you up or something. Oh, stop it. Well, okay. Thank you for being sincere, and thank you for talking to me, and I appreciate you being open and sharing.
Thank you for the banana sticker. That's one.
Richard.
All right, so my first one, I think we all had favorite T-shirts. We're 3 T-shirt guys, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
so
God, yeah.
we've had favorite T-shirts over the years.
I'm currently wearing a T-shirt. True story that I found at a kickball game
Wait, is this a true story?
maybe 7 or 8 years ago.
Versus
found
your
that
other
again?
lies of your stories that
That's
are
right.
built
Wait
on
till he
mountain
tells the
lies. Yeah.
T-shirt story.
I found this T-shirt, and I love. This is like my Sunday T-shirt, wearing around the house T-shirt that I found at the park that someone had left there, and I tried to return it to the league, and no one claimed it,
Oh wow.
and now it's mine.
And how-
Garbage T-shirt found on a bench.
Can you explain what it is?
It is Wimpy from Popeye,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and he's holding up a hamburger, and underneath it says, "I like big buns." This T-shirt rules.
So I would like I wanted you to mention that specifically because my favorite T-shirt when I was probably in my early to mid 20s, let's say, probably say my mid 20s, was a Mean Gene Okerlund's burger T-shirt
That's incredible.
from Mean Gene Okerlund, the WWF balding announcer. Who for some reason they decided to start up a restaurant chain of Mean Gene's burgers.
Okay. While you're talking, I'm going to purchase one of these for you on eBay.
I am actually on eBay right now.
Uh-huh.
There is a Mean Gene shirt. There's one, and it's a size medium.
Oh,
I ain't squeezing on it. You guys can't see this, but I ain't
you wouldn't
squeezing
go on a
into-
diet just for that.
I can maybe get down to a large.
Okay.
Then maybe I can wear it as like some sort of a crop top sort of thing.
What was so special about this shirt?
Well, it had it had the logo on front, which was a big picture of Mean Gene Okerlund's head.
If anything's gonna sell burgers,
That's a bald guy.
A bald
that
wrestling
big old
announcer.
pie face.
Then on the back it just said "fresh, hot, and ready," and then I believe it had some flames coming out of the hot. And I don't know, it was just the T-shirt that just constantly cracked me up, and I would get like the most random responses to it on the street, at bars. People thought it was just like the coolest fucking T-shirt. And I never actually ate at the place, mind you. Now, there was one that was in a gas station down a couple, like 20 miles south of where I lived. Never actually went to it because I'm sure they were not good.
Yeah.
You know.
When I was 14 or 15 or 16, something like that, I got a T-shirt as a birthday present from my friend Eric. It was a Forbidden Planet comic book store T-shirt, this local comic book shop that closed down eventually after like the 94 Northridge earthquake. And I wore this thing until my 20s, until basically it faded away to the point of you couldn't, like, only I knew vaguely what the outline was. What happened to your shirt, Rich?
I got peed on by my cat.
Oh.
Yeah, came back from, this was our first cat, Dino, who was the best cat we've ever had. Make sure other,
listening.
Take that.
Yeah, make sure, Sarah, make sure the other cats aren't listening when they hear this. They don't want to break their hearts. But he was just the fucking best. He was a giant tabby. He must have weighed like 25 pounds. I mean, he was huge. And he, you know, the only bad thing about him was that if he got mad at you, like he thought that you would, if you'd gone away for a few days on vacation or hadn't been cleaning the litter box to his exacting specifications, but just pee in your dirty clothes.
Wow.
And then just kind of walk away. Yeah, pretty typical cat move.
That sounds like a mean thing for a cat to do.
Yeah. Well, we should have changed the litter box.
Okay. Okay.
And
It sounds like a Gene
yeah,
thing for your cat to
that's
do.
why I paused for a second. Are we going Mean Gene? Is that sort of a Mean Gene
Just not
joke,
landing the
or-
pun.
I'm not sure where we're going with this. And yeah, so we came back from some trip, and it's like, uh-oh, and just went in there. That was whatever had been on the top of the dirty clothes hamper, and
Yeah.
you know, when a cat pees on your shirt, there's no coming back from it.
Yeah.
And that was one where I desperately got out like the vinegar and tried to do everything within my power to try and rescue it after like 2 or 3 washings. It's like, hey, hon, what do you think about this? And my sinuses are perpetually like fucked up.
Oh.
So I can't tell so much. Like, hey, hon, Sarah, smell this. Does this smell like cat piss?
So you got to.
Which, by the way, that's nothing more romantic than, hey, hon, does this smell like cat piss?
Well, happy anniversary anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
When did this shirt? How long did you have it?
Oh, I don't know, 4 or 5 years probably.
Oh, so it in your single days. Sounds like it.
Oh,
Okay.
it wasn't my single days. I didn't have single days.
Oh, you didn't. When did you hook up with Sarah?
Oh, we hooked up.
Slower.
Make eye contact with me while you talk about it. In college, freshman year. So I was 17.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a hookup type shirt.
He was just 17, wearing a shirt of Mean Gene.
Oh my God. What? Is it true that this shirt bridged your young cool guy days with your middle-aged cool guy days?
Well, I would say it more bridged sort of the unironic love of wrestling teenage, early 20s years.
Okay.
With the then wearing this shirt ironically at karaoke bars in Silver Lake in my mid to late 20s.
Is that a loss of innocence, a gathering of wisdom? Is that a reframing of something? Were you?
I used to wear a lot of ironic hipster type t-shirts.
He's wearing a shirt right now where the dog's saying meow, the dog's saying woof.
Yeah, this is a shirt I wear because my kids like it, and the animals say different things.
It looks like a duck saying quack, but it might be a dinosaur.
And on the bottom, it has like a unicorn monster thing saying, "Hello, my name is Craig."
There you go.
And my kids think it's the funniest shirt ever, so that's why I wear it. But I would wear shirts that had like just, instead of the college from Animal House, it would just say beer.
Oh, okay.
I had one that said "I Heart Satan."
Yeah.
I had one that said "New York fucking City."
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I wore that one a couple of days, few days after 9/11, thinking, I love New York, been there multiple times. That's where I got the shirt. And some guy got super pissed off at me at a bar and wanted to like punch me.
Oh.
Because he thought I was making fun of New York. And I was like, you're not really getting it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just I wouldn't wear those shirts anymore. And so that was like one of the last holdovers of my like ironic listening to the Strokes mid-90s guy.
Yeah. Wow, that's fascinating.
Mm.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome, Jeff.
Okay, all right, Michael, what's your second?
My second one is the notification I got from my iPad from the Game Center telling me that I've raked up 24 hours of playing Solitaire.
Oh, wow.
It was really depressing.
Why is that number important? Because it's a day?
It's
A day you'll never get back.
It's an entire day I'll never get back playing a game that is so synonymous with just uselessness. It goes nowhere. And it made me think of playing video games in general is kind of useless.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're playing a game like Legend of Zelda, there's a quest. You're trying to beat the game.
Yeah.
And it's like if you play like one of the longer Zelda games, you can log 40 hours, 50 hours just exploring the game and doing things and not caring that you're wasting time. If you're playing a game like Columns or Tetris or like Puzzle Bobble where there's no end, you're just playing a game. And that weird notification that was so specific. And it was like a congratulations. There's nothing to congratulate on playing Solitaire on your iPad for a solid day. And to think back of, it made me think back of all the days playing games like that growing up, where I'd play on the Genesis or the Super Nintendo, the games that don't go anywhere, they don't mean anything. And just be like, oh, can I have those days back? Whatever. Can I have those hours or those 30 minutes?
What would you do with that time?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, right now I have you
have a child coming.
I mean, the sad thing is that we racked up these hours playing this game while like me and my wife were like watching TV, just like hanging out on the couch, listening to music, not really doing anything anyway.
Yeah.
But the fact that I now have this identifier as a day, was like made me put down the device and be like, oh, let's go on a walk with the dogs.
Yeah.
Let's do that right now instead of this.
Your options were innumerable, and you chose to play a stupid game that's synonymous for having nothing to do.
Yeah.
It's the game that you play when you're bored with Minesweeper.
Yeah, basically.
Basically.
Or the plane isn't going to land for like 3 more hours, and you've stopped reading that magazine or something.
I mean, it's weird because, like, for the Apple free Solitaire game, like, the only challenge is to beat it faster. So you just kind of find ways to play Solitaire faster.
It's sort of like almost like an automated, sort of like a, what do they call it when they're trying to figure out we're trying to figure out like how humans can do simple interactions faster.
Oh, okay.
That whole sort of like
I had this like jigsaw puzzle app too on your for your iPad or phone or whatever, and you can select a picture and whatever you put it on
where
there.
they're using these incredible devices to make something
stuff.
Amish people sell on the road.
And so I used to start out when I would play it, I start out and put do the edge tiles like you do a normal jigsaw puzzle, and then I discovered you can just stack all the tiles on top of each other, and just like then once you've moved all of the tiles from your like available column just onto the playing board, you could just start moving a tile around and it automatically like clicks into place when it's supposed to link up.
Oh.
So you figured out how to cheat a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Cheat at puzzles.
It's sad. It's sad. And like playing Solitaire is very sad. And to have a day gone is very sad.
And also how excited you get when you actually beat your record or whatever it is you're trying to do.
It's so stupid.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What were you thinking in the background of doing this? Like when I play Solitaire, it's not always the front of you. It's kind of something you're kind of doing. It's almost like a mental thumb twiddling or something where you're maybe pondering another subject.
A lot of the times it's like Emily and I will come home and we'll put on music.
Yeah.
And you'll do that thing where you're just flipping through Facebook or flipping through Twitter or Reddit or like one of those other meaningless social apps. And then I would get to the point where it's like, well, I'm caught up on Twitter. There's no new news coming out. Yeah. Or we
Trump
just,
has a tweet in the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, and then I would just sit there, just like, all right, well, I guess I'll play a game, or like Emily would play a game on her device, and
Yeah.
It would have been fine. It would have been fine
Yeah.
if that notification didn't pop up.
Yeah.
Did that notification make you a better person to stop playing that game as much?
Little bit though.
There you go. So maybe it did its job. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be a congratulations. It was a warning from the future.
I hope so.
Your own little Christmas carol. Mankind was my business.
Now it's Solitaire.
Solitaire. Richard.
All right, second
What's your
banana
second
sticker
one?
for me. Hold on. Put this right next to the other one. Richard, I still see has 0 banana stickers. That's okay.
My second one was this last election.
I had thought of this for a
was a
very
real
long
heartbreaker.
while.
Yeah, that was not a fun night
I
in
didn't-
the old Manfredi Reeve household.
Not to sway the judge anyway. I didn't know if this counted as people, because for me I was collectively disappointed in the people.
Well, I thought the
Yeah.
person breaking your
I-
heart was more like girlfriend.
I get
splitting
that.
up or something.
You know.
Shut the fuck up.
Mhm.
Oh, that's not
Well, it was an election, like there was also the popular vote.
There's a
versus
whole
the
mechanism.
electoral
Yeah,
col-
the
mechanism.
machinations
Yeah.
of
It was-
democracy.
It was really depressing. It was really heartbreaking. No,
Yeah.
I'm 100% with you.
Yeah, no, I remember going to vote in the morning and being super like just cock of the walk. I did my job, democracy, going good. Just felt good to be an American, be able to cast your vote.
There was a we got this amongst Democrats, I think, at the time. Yeah.
And apparently amongst the Clinton camp a
Yeah.
bit too much.
You said clitoris campaign.
I would have voted for that.
Shit, I
You
think
would've
Trump
voted for
would have.
that?
He would have just grabbed it.
Who wasn't grabbed it? Thank you. And then it was like, remember getting home from work early and starting to watch the early results roll in. And, you got the results on the TV. I had the computer with a 538 and the New York Times and all this other stuff. And just watching it and going, okay, well, So those early counties in Florida, that could have been a little stronger for Hillary, but I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
Those counties should have come in a little, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there was that one point when you started to look at the map, and it was just like, I realized it before my wife did. And so I kind of had like she's going to lose this fucking, it's over.
Wow.
she's done.
we were at I'd never been to like an election party.
Mhm.
We were at a friend's house at an election party. We were making pizzas, homemade pizzas, and having some drinks and feeling good and just hanging out with a bunch of people, and
Yeah.
more people kept streaming in, and then that dawning realization that like, oh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
Okay, Florida would have been great. Well, you need Pennsylvania. You're going to get Pennsylvania. So that's. Oh.
Maybe Ohio will say, wait, Michigan?
It kept going.
At one point, I went to go get tacos for the family because nothing goes better than tacos in desperation during an election viewing. And I just remember leaving and just coming back and walking in the door and feeling like this is going to be bad when I walk in. And it was just, oh my God, I think they've lost. Oh, I think she lost Ohio. And I had kind of by that point, I'd kind of resigned myself to it. And Sarah was still more optimistic about it. So every time I would talk about it, like, she's not going to win. There's no way. Look at the math. She got, like, really mad at me for a little bit. Just, like, be quiet. I don't know. It's not helping to say that. I'm like, well, I've moved on from the first couple of stages of grief over this.
Mhm.
And of course, it doesn't help that my father-in-law is a big-time conservative and lives with us.
Yeah.
And was just kind of sitting there in his seat watching this with a kind of the smile of the cat who ate
Yeah.
the canary.
Yeah. Do you feel it more palpably? I know parents with younger kids that they, our friend Alex Gradette, who are currently in a pod,
Not really a friend.
our pod feud enemy, Alex Gradette, has a lot of comments that I think are through the lens of a parent.
Right.
Yeah, and as if there aren't many other reasons to be upset about the events have happened, but you kind of think of yourself as the guy who can provide tacos and a good America for your kid. with
Only
your
one
vote.
or the other, apparently. Tacos or a good America. No, I do remember because Vivian, kids have been to sleep by that point, and I remember just thinking, I think I actually told Sarah, do we wake her and tell her now? Or do we wait till the morning and like ruin her morning and have her like be pissed off all day at school? And I think that's what we did. And apparently there was her teacher had to stop the kids because at one point there was a protest that was marching past their
good.
school.
All right.
Was marching past their school, and the kids saw it and wanted to go out there and join the protest. And the teacher had to be, no, we're not going to do that. Let's get back to our like math class or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was a rough day. We left that party before it was called. We just like Emily was I was upset. Emily was physically upset. Cried on the way home, and just got home. It was just like it was just
gross.
It was gross. Couldn't believe it.
Mad at America, mad at people. Just how could you guys be this stupid?
Yeah. Okay.
You get 2 banana stickers, Richard.
For that one.
There you go.
Thank
you guys.
We're all tied up with stickers.
Let's bring it in. Let's have a hug right now. Let's bring it in.
That's my butt.
Oh, that was so soft.
No.
There's no muscle down there.
To the left.
Oh. We are at halftime. We care about what you think, and we care about what you feel at the Mount Rushmore podcast. And we'd like to know what you feel about the Mount Rushmore podcast. Go on to iTunes, download, rate, and review current and past episodes. Join our Facebook community by going to the Mount Rushmore thing on Facebook. A previous 1 or 2 contributors on the Mount Rushmore Facebook page have actually become participants in the podcast. So that doesn't have to happen to you. You can just go down and put your input on stuff.
Yeah, we're not going to force you to come on the show.
You will be on this podcast. Also, there's Instagram and Twitter, but I wouldn't waste your time with that. We're back.
What? No, do waste your time on it.
Please, we waste our time on it.
You should too.
There's Instagram and Twitter, which are wonderful communities with spreading lots of good information and fabulous way to press the heart button and heart the post for the Mount Rushmore podcast.
Nailed it.
My name's Jeff Hopkins, and it's my job to make you feel better. I'm a 100% board certified listener.
Okay.
And I give...
We have 100% certified board listeners right now.
They are board listeners. Oh, let's wake them up. Okay, wake up, you guys. We're back, and Michael is going to talk about his third thing that broke his heart.
The third thing is pizza. And
enough with the pizza.
You and the pizza again, Michael.
When people choose to order from a fast food place instead of from a local joint, when the option is right there and it's going to be better. And
is it?
It is.
Little Caesars is pretty good.
You know, Joe Peeps has like a C in the window there. You know that,
guys
right?
have really, I mean...
It's pretty good. And you get do you get crazy bread at your local place?
Okay.
Do you? No, you don't.
This hasn't been done before. But Richard, as the Duke of Pizza Club, revoked.
Oh, wow.
And our next meeting we're going to have in 27 years, I am going to appeal this.
Well, listen, you can have your coup then, but right now it's revoked.
What kind of choice is someone making? Is it an uninformed choice, or you think they're informed and they just okay?
They are
stupid.
They're just it's an uncaring and an unthoughtful voice.
Is it lazy?
It's lazy.
Let me ask you this: what about Chinese food? What about Filipino food? What about Ethiopian cuisine? Would you have a discernible taste in one of those?
Yes, I would rather go. I would rather go to the Ethiopian fast food place.
Oh man, Ethi.
So, pizza has been a big part of my life. I think it's a big part of everybody's life. It's ubiquitous with hanging out, having friends, doing things together, and sharing a pizza. We've talked about it a little bit. If there was one like Mount Rushmore that I'd like to redo, not by being forced to do one, but the Mount Rushmore of snobs. Is to go back and put the like the New York pizza snobs on there who think that only their pizza is any good.
It's the water, Michael.
That's right. Okay, we got that, snobs. So the point is that I ran a pizza club here in LA for 5, 6, 8 years.
A long time. We sat down one time after we hadn't done it for a while.
Yeah.
And how many places did we go to?
In LA, we had gone to 120 something places.
Oh, wow.
Every other week for like 6 years.
Yeah, I got invited like 2 of those. That's awesome.
You were on the email list for most of them.
You got invited. You showed up for 2 of them.
That's right. Anyway, so we've done our due diligence on pizza in LA, and we would try to go to a new place almost every time.
Yeah.
And we found that it was a tremendous bell curve. There's a few crappy places. There's a few great places. a lot of really good places and some kind of mediocre whatever places. But in almost every part of the city, there are great places to eat pizza. Sometimes it's a little more expensive. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just this random hole in the wall
Yeah.
that is really good. That's just your local place that is just like, wow, that's really good pizza. And it's always a bummer to go to someone's house and they're like, let's order pizza. It's like, okay, I'm in the zone. You can just ask me where to order from, and we can order there. And okay, so I guess Pizza Hut's fine. And it is fine. It's not bad.
What separates this? Okay, obviously this is personal.
Yeah.
But like, what separates? Are you this way with wine?
No, pizza.
Okay, if somebody was like this with wine, one thing that I think might differentiate is wine.
But there aren't. But you can't. You don't go to like you don't. There isn't like fast food wine place that you go to or order.
Well,
from.
there's like
a liquor store.
$2 Chuck.
I guess so. But like, does anyone?
How would you feel about somebody who? You're being a pizza snob right now.
Sure, kind of. No, I'm saying that there is better choices available that's local.
And I think
that people seem. There seems to be a thing that people do where they opt for the easiest rather than opting for like trying something in your local neighborhood that's good.
Often wine, the barrier to access for wine is financial. With pizza, that's not the case.
Sure. I mean, I can understand if there's a big party and you want to get a bunch of medium pizzas and they're all $6 each.
Well,
whatever. That like you go to a party like that and that's fine. That doesn't. But like if you're going over in your order,
but then there's stuff like our friend Tyler. Sorry to interrupt, but who orders for Domino's because he likes the tracker.
Sure.
Like is obsessed with that.
Oh,
borderline, I would say. Like the fact that they have that stupid like. I said it, stupid. Tyler, come fight me. Now that you've got a broken arm, your arm in a sling. A thing that says like your order's been placed, and you can see it sort of like track through like it's with the delivery driver. It's
a cool app. Unfortunately, you get mediocre pizza at the end for something that's a little bit cheaper than what you'd get from whoever, Mr. Neighborhood Pizza.
Let me ask you
That'd
this:
be a great name.
Do you, Mr. Neighborhood Pizza?
Mr. Neighborhood Pizza would be a great name for a pizza place.
Do you think that you bemoan the lack of discerning taste that other people have? Because I'll tell you, for my pizza palate is not as discernible. I can't discern great from just good.
Little secret, it all tastes the same.
It all okay.
To pull the curtain back, it's all flour. And,
maybe you just the people aren't exercising their options.
I think so.
Yeah.
I guess I get kind of heartbroken when people don't.
Is it more like a brand name versus like not supporting the little guy who's like?
Maybe there's a little, but maybe it's also too is if you have like maybe it's with a group of friends, if you've come to a pizza club and you know that you've gone and had good pizza, and then your default option is like, oh well, I'll just order from Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Just like okay.
We could do a Rushmore of great pizza club moments.
That's
Really? Oh, really?
What's it going to be? I had a good slice. Yeah, that slice is really good.
One time someone tried to pay with a check.
Yeah, who's going to relate to that?
All right, Richard.
So my third one is...
Banana pepper sticker for me.
My third one, and Sarah thought I would do all sports ones when I asked her about this. I limited myself to one.
Can you really get that broken up over sports?
Especially when it's America.
Oh, there we go.
Michael.
Uh-oh.
We're talking
American flag sticker over here for this one.
Yeah.
It's the 2002 World Cup quarterfinals, U.S. versus Germany. So the United States had made it to the quarterfinals for the first time. Well, the first time and the only time so far in their history. And it was just a fun thing to watch the team do this. And as someone who had followed the team, pretty much my whole life from the time when they weren't good enough to even qualify for the World Cup.
You had that ironic shirt back then.
Yeah. U.S. soccer, fresh, hot, and not ready. That it was just this amazing thing to watch. They got out of the group. Then they wound up getting drawn against Mexico in the first knockout game, which was an incredible break for us because it's a team we knew well and we knew we could beat, and we did. So then we get up against Germany in the quarterfinals. And arguably outplay them for most of the first half, but they score a goal on a kind of free kick. In the second half, there's a shot that's taken. Keeper makes the initial save, but then the ball kind of goes off his hand and starts rolling towards the goal, or kind of bounces in the air towards a goal. And the German defender, Torsten Frings, has his body, tries to hit it with his body, but it winds up hitting his arm, which is kind of like half sticking out of away from his body. And the referee decides not to call a penalty on that. Because it would have been a penalty kick, which almost always gets converted. It would have been 1-1. Score would have been tied in the second half, and then what if? We wind up losing 1-0 into the kind of road for the U.S. soccer team at that time. And I was watching that because those games were in South Korea and Japan, that World Cup. And so with the time difference, I think the game started like at, I want to say like 11:30, and then the second game was like, it started like, I think I got to that game like at 2 a.m. to go watch it at the Staples Center. They actually opened the Staples Center to let fans come in for free and like eat a free breakfast and watch the game. And so it's one thing to be disappointed watching a sporting event. It's another thing to wake up at like 2 a.m. to be disappointed watching a sporting event. And then it's a totally different thing to be disappointed at 2 a.m. watching a sporting event with, hundreds and hundreds of other people who are now also very disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
And, just the fact that it kind of happened in this sort of questionable way, like, Germany being the big soccer power wound up getting this call that went for them. You always kind of wonder, did the United States not get that call because they're the U.S. and there's some sort of keep the little guy down? And I realized how ironic I'm saying keeping the little guy down when we're talking about the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Also saying we a lot.
Got a problem with that?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I don't say we with sports teams except for U.S.
The
teams.
U.S.
That's all us.
It says we, the hundreds of people who enjoy soccer.
Hey now.
You said your words.
No, in the Staples Center at 2 a.m. that day. But it was just, like I said, it becomes one of those great what if things. Like, what if they'd gone to penalty kicks? What if, if it's 1-1, maybe we score another goal, and then we would have played South Korea in the semifinals, and we'd already tied South Korea in the group stage, so we very easily could have won that game. And, one call doesn't go your way, and next thing you know, it could have been in a World Cup final.
Right.
So that was sort of my real introduction into the
what would be
the heartbreak of soccer.
World of heartbreak.
And soccer really is, for whatever reason, it's the type of sport that I think can break your heart probably more than any other sport.
Is it the low scoring that every point means so much? Is it what it is?
They're called goals, not points.
Sorry, dude.
Soccer snob here.
Sorry. When we play soccer,
you call them points.
we call them
Call them score points.
Home runs.
They're goal points.
Score points.
Jeff just scored a point against a mosquito hawk that is invading our studio.
You see how horrible I am at.
Jeff
it was inches from my hand and I missed it.
Jeff is up 1-0.
I'm 1-0 against the moth. You are a big supporter of fringe sports or emerging sports
or sports outside of the mainstream.
Yeah.
With soccer, you mentioned why I do think it is partially, the fact that, there isn't a lot of scoring, but I think
were the U.S. to win, that might build a bigger fan base for soccer.
It would have, I think, possibly drastically changed the landscape for U.S. soccer. And for me, it's fun. I think partially it's fun to be able to root for the United States in a sport where we're not the overwhelming favorite. It's kind of nice not to go in there and not be like watching the Olympics and swimming where like Michael Phelps is going to win like 12 gold medals and someone else is,
Sure, or basketball where it's
doesn't matter.
It's game over.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of nice that this is the biggest sport in the world and we're still kind of the underdogs. Yeah, I get the irony of it, but it's still kind of nice to be able to support that. And, support the fact that when you go to a soccer game, it is a very diverse crowd. I'm part of the American Outlaws Los Angeles, and our membership, it's, super diverse in terms of ethnicities and just backgrounds. And you even
get
see
that Outlaws Los Angeles plug money.
Yeah.
Sweet.
To cash. And, so I think it's just, it's something that you wind up getting invested in more than just the sport. it really felt like America lost that day.
Yeah. Wow. Here's a little soccer ball that says "Just kicking it."
All right,
It's a
cool.
sticker. Yeah.
Take it.
All right, Michael, what's your final?
My final
choice?
thing is selling my comic book collection
Oh.
when I was in my mid-30s
Oh.
to make rent and pay some bills.
Oh, wow.
Oof.
It was such a personally depressing moment to get to a point where I just either managed my money not right or had extra expenses, and you had to look to like the one place where I could turn to where it's like, okay, I can get some money off of this. And I turned to the 3,500 comics that I was collecting
Oh, wow.
from
Oh, my God.
1991 until 2004 or 5.
At least they were probably all shitty, right?
No, I mean, I
Yeah,
still,
Casper, full run Casper, full run Wind of the Witch.
Cracked magazine.
I had, I had, full first run of a ton of stuff.
Uh-huh.
It was right in the heyday of the early 90s kind of image boom. And when Superman died on Superman number 75,
Uh-huh.
that comic immediately shot up to, I don't know, it was like $25 the second day. And I remember my dad was sending me like, maybe it was when the creator of Superman died, he sent me an article. But like there was like suddenly there was like buzz on TV. Like there was TV shows, news was talking about Superman dying and all this stuff. And there's a lot of speculation that comics are gonna, go sky high.
Yeah.
I sold these 3,500 comics for $300.
Oh, wow.
I got like virtually nothing for them.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And it was a weird, crazy realization of like, oh yeah, the stuff that you hang on to that you think is going to be this mint that your identity is built on for the longest time is like, oh yeah, you're the comic book guy in high school, or you're spent weeks, every week on Wednesday you go down and you grab the comics off of the pull list and you make your pilgrimage and read comics every week, and you spend $10 to $20 a week on comics.
And this was a potential career path for you too.
Oh yeah, 100% thought that I was going to college and I was going to be an artist and I was going to go into comics, and that was, I can talk about a realization of like, oh, I'm not interested in this after 2 years. But to like sell all of like these weird things that I'd lugged around for years. I'd lugged boxes of comics.
How many places had you moved your comics to?
From a house, like from the valley. Okay. So I'd moved them from like the valley to college. That's one. Santa Barbara. Moved them to a couple different places in Santa Barbara.
Right.
Moved them up to Seattle. Moved back to L.A. Moved from L.A. Place in L.A. to another place. So like, you'd moved with them as many times as I'd moved with that Billy bookcase from our IKEA episode. I mean, I'd practically moved with this collection of comics. And those they're things that like, what made me think of it the other day, actually, even last night, was my friend Eric posted something on Facebook where he reminded me of this. There was this comic magazine called Wizard, the Guide to Comics. And back in 1994, there was like a scavenger hunt. And we entered it together and we collected a bunch of like garbage. Like it was like weird things to send in, like a Pog or like a Captain Carrot. And this was what it was, a Captain Carrot and his Amazing Zoo Crew comic. That we sent it in this bundle and sent it in. And they sent us back like a single issue of like a Amazing Spider-Man comic signed. And it was, it was this weird kind of like dawning realization that like, oh my God, I had all these great memories and things. I didn't really look at them anymore. They were in my closet. I had read them. And it wasn't until I sat down and made a list to put on Craigslist of what I was being sold. And like I have the spreadsheet still. And it's like a weird like, oh, there was like, a decade and a half, 15 years worth of memories and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars spent. And then it's all traded in for, 10 cents a piece, basically, pennies on the dollar. It's hard.
I kind of had that recently. I had gone back home to my family's home, and my sister had a bunch of stuff that she had found for me. Mainly they're baseball cards. And I was a baseball card guy. I think the same way that you were a comic book guy, I was a baseball card guy. And that was the same thing in the 80s, early 90s. The baseball cards were going to be the next great commodity, right? Like, rookie cards were going for hundreds of dollars of certain players, and the error cards and all that kind of stuff.
I had bought a box. Somehow I'd saved and bought a box of 1990 Score with the black and white bow, thinking that was going to be...
You're going to make some money off of that.
No.
Yeah, no chance. So she got, and I had, just boxes, and they were cataloged and had like by team. And she said, well, do you want these? And I looked through them, and I'm just like, I vaguely remember who these players are.
Yeah.
I got excited because I found a Barry Bonds rookie card.
Oh.
Went and looked up how much it was worth. So I was thinking, well, that one's at least got to be worth $4, what it was worth. It's like, I don't care. I think I wound up just taking it just because I wanted to get it off my sister's hands. So it's going to sit in my garage probably for the next decade.
It's a weird thing to, that there is a air of collectability that is pumped into you going to a comic store or a baseball card store, and years of going to comic book conventions and picking up back issues and filling up your collection, and then you think that it's worth something, and there's this weird, just a lack of value. It's all in the eye of the beholder, and maybe if I'd held on to it for a little while, that's 100% is always the mindset of holding on to things. Like maybe if I held on to it for another year, or maybe if I didn't have rent to pay that month, I could have sold these piecemeal one by one. But like, you get to the point where you're like, I just got to get rid of all this emotion. Like it's emotional baggage that you're just dragging around at this point. It's just memories. It's like, I still read Amazing Spider-Man number 322. I still remember all of it. I still remember the exact comic that we got back for that scavenger hunt. And it was just like, I got it. It's in there. I know every panel. I remember all that stuff. So it's there
in your heart.
It's there in your heart and your head, but not worth anything.
Oh my God.
Don't collect comic book, guys.
Guys, this
Or don't
is
collect
so
comic book, guys.
emotional.
You know what, Jeff? You are reading comic books on like a Marvel app.
Yeah,
That is 100% the best way to do it, because you just pay $10 a month and you have all this access, and you could read anything you want any time. It's great.
They're all
Can't wait to get that Marvel
mint in wrapper. Yeah. They're all
Yeah.
And you also, that what do we call? I think we've mentioned like golden era syndrome in the past. How things that survive probably in their print form, comics that survive in their print form, all have this, are also classic and wonderful, but the shitty ones were thrown away. Yeah. There's so few. Look on that Marvel app. I was just looking at Shanna the She-Devil. There's like Night Nurse. All these horrible
that
comics.
Sounds sexy.
There's some awful comics that are in there. And
it was. I remember going through it too. I'll put a final button on this, and going back and just really judging my 17-year-old self, my 16-year-old self, being like, I can't believe you paid $3.50 for this comic book. This is the art's terrible. The story is stupid. None of this is good. You just bought it because it was new and because it was in Wizard.
Look at the cover. The guy can't even draw feet.
That's right. How'd you know I was talking about Brigade? Just Brigade number
just
one.
Just a guess.
Wow. I feel like there's a lot of growing happening, a lot of sharing, and I feel like we're kind of stepping out of our shells, shedding our skin, and getting to the new us that will be horribly hurt by something new.
Right.
The
ripping open scabs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pretend this newest banana sticker is a snakeskin sticker.
Oh, there you go. Here's a Spider-Man just swinging in. I got no good Spider-Man riff. Okay, Richard, wrap it up.
So my last one, I was junior year of high school. Actually, I take it back. It was sophomore year.
Take that back.
Take it back.
You take it.
You son of a bitch. Sophomore year of high school. So my best friends were all the guys where I was in. Basically, all the drummers that were in jazz band with me. I played bass.
Nice.
And
the engine room, the rhythm section.
We're the heart and soul.
The heart and soul
of the Kingsburg High Jazz Band. And so it was, we were all kind of the alternative rock kids anyway. And there's another friend of mine who played saxophone there. And we had gotten tickets to go see New Year's Eve. It was like Primus and Mr. Bungle, which was like a...
Is that Mike Patton?
Mike Patton's like side project band. And then the Red Hot Chili Peppers were going to be playing a New Year's Eve show in somewhere in the Bay Area. And we got tickets to go see the show, and a friend's dad lived up there. So we were going to stay with him and like stay up for a couple of nights and go do shit in the city.
Wow.
Go see the show. And I'm 16,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and in this little shithole town. No offense, guys.
Oh,
This
man.
little shithole town.
I can almost see where this is going.
Kingsburg, yeah. And it's this is like to be the first big boy like on my own kind of trip. And literally the morning that we were supposed to leave, one of my friends rolls up to my house, comes over and says, "Hey, I just found out they had to cancel the show." Like somebody in one of the bands, I want to say like the drummer from Red Hot Chili Peppers got like mono or something. Or got hurt, or there's just something where one of the bands couldn't perform, and then another band had something else come up, and they just like literally last minute called it off.
There's a reason this isn't on your Mount Rushmore of best concerts I've been to.
Yeah, that didn't just miss the cut.
Oh,
And so it was just like that thing, like, oh, are we going to go up?
How late did you know?
It was like the day of.
Oh.
Like we were going to drive out that afternoon, like that afternoon, and like first thing in the morning, I think somebody came up and said, "Hey, show got canceled."
Yeah.
And we sat there for a bit trying to figure out, well, should we still go up anyway? Then it was like, well, no, I don't think a family is going to be happy if we go up, and there's not really I just turned in this whole like thing.
Yeah.
And so didn't get to go. Got stuck at home New Year's Eve. Gonna have the most bitchin' New Year's Eve of my 16-year-old life.
Oh God.
Clearly get laid, because
Yeah.
if you're 16 in San Francisco on New Year's Eve,
Yeah. Some kind of
clearly getting
manic pixie dream girl.
Yeah,
comes up to you and dances around you.
Could have been my Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Instead, I wound up watching Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve with my family, eating,
is that the Red Hot Chili Peppers on there?
Wait a second! Wait a goddamn minute! I fucking knew it.
Oh, that's so funny.
So that was I stewed about that one for a really long time, and it was just like that feeling at the time, like I'm never getting out. God doesn't want me to leave, even for a weekend. I'm going to be stuck here forever.
Oh wow! Well, that's
Take that,
interesting.
fate.
Yeah. So I turned that. I eventually turned that around, obviously, but at the time it was just like this.
Could you turn that back around and head out of here?
But
I'm sure you could probably see that same lineup in a show, like at the
State Fair.
At the State Fair.
Mid-State Fair.
Who's that one guy in the middle just dancing like nobody's business?
That old guy.
That old guy. Hey, were you maybe going to go see that show in the bank?
91? Or they got canceled? Hey, you're the guy who got mono. And rushing the stage. But yeah, it just sucked.
Yeah.
Just really sucked.
Yeah. I want to thank you guys for the amount of sharing that's happened. We've been doing this podcast for 60-some episodes. And
I thought you were going to say 60-some years.
60-some years.
Just feels like
it
that.
feels like it. And I feel like this is the first time that we've lowered the veil of thick irony that glazes every syllable that comes out of our mouths and really talk to each other. There's a lot of good eye contact. And there's, I think, a lot of good sharing. Richard, your heartbreaks were, I think, around experiences that you might have shared with other people. I found that fascinating, or that you did share. So it was whether it was an election night party, or whether it was in the Staples Center, or the concert, they were really centered around experiences, other than the cat pissing on your shirt.
Well, that's an experience.
That's an experience. Well, you did ask your wife to smell it, so
Yeah,
that's like
it's a
you did
communal
share.
thing, yeah.
You did share it. And Michael, I felt like a lot of your moments of loss were surrounding things that you have accumulated or given value to over time. Whether it's a collection of information about pizza, or a collection of comic books, or collecting the minutes and hours and a full day that you played this useless game that is a horrible game, Solitaire. Or the knowledge that you collected about dinosaurs, and then only to have science come around and deem it to be all completely invalid.
Fucking science.
Stupid
Get
ass
outta
science. The last thing I'm going to share is a audition I had. It was my final year of. This is a thing that broke my heart. I had my first film audition for the movie Mr. and Mrs. Bridge, and I got to audition for Ivory of Merchant Ivory. The role was a 21-year-old male student at the University of Kansas. I was a 21-year-old male student at the University of Kansas. I was convinced I was going to get this part. and have scenes opposite the salad dressing guy, Paul Newman.
Wait, I was trying to think of who it was, like Mr. Wishbone?
Otts. Larry Otts. And guess what? I didn't get it. I went back to my job of repairing Birkenstocks, and I...
What? You can't just throw that in.
That was my day job?
Time out.
Chef Casco is the best place.
The weirdest thing.
Was it just Birkenstocks?
It was, yes, just Birkenstocks. It was a Birkenstock sandal store in Lawrence, Kansas, the hippie stronghold of Kansas. And I thought...
What type of... Do you have, like, blowouts, or is it just sort of, like, more loose straps? What were the common Birkenstock
It would be a
issues?
strap repair. Mostly it was the cork footbed that needed to be repaired. Perhaps the nubuck needed to be sanded.
I can't believe we've yada-yada'd past the film to the shoe repair.
Guys, I thought sharing was going to be helpful, but instead sharing has just brought criticism from me.
No, I'm sure you were a great Birkenstock repairman.
And a shitty actor. That's what it turned out to be. And it took a lot of the wind out of my sails as a young aspirant in the field of thespianism. But you know what today I do? I put on a Batman costume.
Yeah.
So guess who won? Thumbs in purple velvet gloves pointing at this guy right here. But it's not about me. It's about us and the things that we've shared over this last year on the Mount Rushmore podcast and what we've shared in this room. And I think a lot of growth and a lot of healing has happened. And I want to do something. I want to give you equal amount of points. I want to each give you 2 points.
Okay.
But I'm asking you to take those points like any material possession and just throw them away. Okay, on 3, you have the points. It's your choice. You have the points. Let me hold the points up in the air. 1, 2, 3. You both held on to your points.
I don't trust him to throw away his points.
Okay.
I know this guy.
Yeah, he wasn't throwing away his points.
For the record, audience, neither of them threw away their points.
No way. Those points are going to mean something back.
Idiot.
I mean, come on. This isn't like a pissed on cat shirt.
What I did think was interesting.
My hands are still balled up as if I'm holding these imaginary points.
Still gripping.
Now you're just angry. Now you look like you're ready to fight.
We're going to fight.
You're grabbing at his points, trying to get his points out of his fists.
What do you mean they're a metaphor? You can't hold a metaphor.
What I thought was really interesting.
You may take these points, but you'll never have my banana sticker.
This has been the Mount Rushmore podcast. The last sound you hear will be me trying to wrestle these points out of the hands of these guys. Give me your points. Give me your points. Come on, guys.